Alright, squad. Time to deploy. Unfortunately, we still have a queen to kill.
Never thought I'd be called back into the forces soon, but now it's time to let forth the gears of war. Again.
Hell yeah. So yeah, everybody, like I said, we're playing this on using the Xbox 360.
The Xbox 360 logo.
Back when the Xbox logo wasn't terrifying.
You know, back when Microsoft were more respected in the game world.
And also, it's funny because that was the second. That's funny because that's the second version of the Xbox 360 intro.
Yeah.
And here's the old Microsoft Game Studios logo.
I miss when that meant something.
All right.
Well, mind you, logos change a lot, so they don't really mean much. It's just the name that means something, not the logo.
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty sure that's what it means.
This game brought to you by Opa Gaming.
Oh yeah, that's because I'm using my brother's Microsoft account. Basically, when I got my Xbox 360, I didn't have a Microsoft account, and since my brother doesn't have one, doesn't have an Xbox anyway, I just used his. I told him, you know what? I'll just use your account, so I don't have to make a new one from scratch.
Deleted scene.
That's you can download for free a DLC that includes a deleted scene from the campaign. We'll get to it, Teo, because it needs some context.
Right.
If I show it now, it will spoil stuff. So, well, don't worry.
Imagine.
I'll bring it up when it comes relevant. All right. So, welcome to Gears of War 2.
As always.
Of course it
For power.
Also, I heard this voice actress.
The hunger to consume. Inevitably, this led to conflict. Humanity fought an endless battle against itself. Until it was forced to unite against a power far greater.
Yeah, that's what the series. You know, if this were a game made from the perspective of the bad guys, they'd probably rename it "Villain Humans Suck 2."
Also, Teo, the reason you may remember that voice is that's Caroline Seymour.
Continued to march blindly to their imminent doom. Unaware that their misguided attempts at retaliation were only leading them ever closer to extinction.
Of course.
They had
that's what happened.
by their weapons of mass destruction.
They're recapping what happened at the end of the footage.
Yeah.
But to survive is to endure and prosper. And we
Oh boy, more of
have
those
most
guys.
certainly survived.
Unfortunately, the Locusts are not going down that easy. They're spread all over the world.
And now they're back for revenge.
A final desperate defense.
We took a massive dent in their forces, yes, but unfortunately, that's only the beginning of this war.
In a way, I
Mind you, if I were leading this force, the story would probably the aliens. I mean, you'd probably go like these evil humans. They put a huge giant thumbtack on the middle, and I put my foot on it.
Let's just say the woman.
What do you mean it was my fault for not looking?
Let's just say the woman speaking has quite the grudge against humanity.
Is it like Scorpion in Spider-Man, where she's stuck inside a suit and then she's gonna make everyone pay?
Carmine! Oh, that's not. To be fair, no, that's not the Carmine.
We need to properly build up Carmine before killing him.
Hi, Anya.
Damn, that's just down the road.
Exactly. They're moving deep.
Hey, Dom. I see you've added some more stubble on. War does that to you.
Hang on. This is it's got an army. Where's the scene where everyone runs off a helicopter and yells orders at each other?
That's actually for part 2, Glibs.
Okay. I'm just heading to the hospital now. I need to.
Don't worry, Glibs. Cliff is aware.
Good luck, all right?
I guess Cliff thought the same as you, but he's saving it for later. And there's Carmine.
Delta Squad?
Get it? He's an idiot.
Hey, at least he's still alive.
No, this is a different Carmine.
I know. Pedro, I know.
Sorry,
but he lives on.
Train.
Lucky me.
Okay, this is the first addition to Gears of War 2. Unlike with the first game, where actually never mind. It wasn't the first
It is literally another Carmine.
Not that polite out here.
Yeah.
See what I mean? He lives on in the spirit of that.
Oh yeah. Welcome to
Welcome
Delta.
to Delta, Carmine.
Enjoy your stay for how brief it may be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Allow me to.
It's an honor to
Oh.
serve with you, sir. I hear that you're the one who...
Sergeant.
Yes, sir. Sergeant Fenix. Must be good to
Oh,
know you're
look at this
fighting with a
bright-eyed
Is that
youngster.
Arkham losing Carmine? Let me check.
I don't know.
Name's Dom, by the way.
Good to meet you, sir. Don, you see action in the war?
We
sir?
all did, kid.
Rook, we can talk history later.
Although
Concentrate on
Dom
your
had
training.
a habit of just standing around doing nothing while I pulled the weight.
Steve's banana.
But yeah, this is one thing that I like already about Gears 2 compared to the first one. There's a lot more of these choose
First
path
things first,
moments,
Rook.
whereas in the first game they were very
Focused on your
scarce.
mission. Best way
I
is
even
to
forgot
check
about
your
them for a moment there.
TACCOM
Sorry.
before
Also, the interaction is cranked up quite a notch too, in the sense like, well, you'll get a lot of in-game dialogue between your party members here.
Do unto
Yeah,
others
there's more of
as
it. Yeah,
you
not
would
as
have
quite as much as I would have liked, but it's
Golden
but it's
rule of
at
the
least more.
Gears is take cover or die.
Basically.
Yeah,
Gotta get the
basically.
Cover, Rook.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jack.
Like that. So yeah, obviously that choose path for earlier is basically the game's story context way of saying, are you new to this franchise or not? Because if you don't, you can skip the tutorial if you want.
Can I just talk about how much I appreciate this form of tutorial in the sense, like, you know, mentor
Immersive
telling
in the
newbie
story,
how to
yeah.
do this, and, you know, like, well, and it makes you feel smart because you're technically the one giving a tutorial. I mean, yeah, you are technically learning it, but it says you're teaching an NPC how to do it here and there, too.
All right, kid. All right, kid. Today we're gonna learn how to teabag the dead body.
Yeah, another thing that gets introduced in Gears of War 2 is that instead of just having the cogs like in the first game, we also have the typical story-related collectibles that give us some extra little context here and there about things. Unfortunately, the collectibles, for the most part, there are some really good ones, especially in Gears 3, but for the most part, the collectibles tend to be a little bit superfluous to me. They mostly just give out typical exposition about little details, but they don't really have anything juicy. But whatever.
Just good
Moving
to
on.
know he died a hero's death.
Also know that all the Carmines are voiced by Michael Goff through all the games.
Nice.
Nice.
Again, is it... You gotta love how they're all named Carmine, like... Damn, if there's ever a name.
Well, same family, so obviously.
I'll call that.
They have different first names, I'm sure, but people just call them Carmine just for the purpose of, you know.
So is that family just cursed?
Winning.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You can hit those in your sleep.
So yeah, this is so you can practice your aim.
Pistol, man.
Nope.
Better reload.
Good training, you know, shooting cans off of cars.
Even though I already knew, I still went ahead with train anyway because it gives us some extra dialogue.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's sort of like when I go with yes for tutorials in Ace Attorney because they give more dialogue.
Yeah, the best way to do this game is like this. When you're playing for the first time, definitely train so you can watch these interactions. When you're playing it a second time, by the way, might as well skip it. So.
Something tells me that the tutorial has become a bit more real.
Yeah, this is another thing.
hit him?
Yeah, did you notice how the game just told me? And it's the same thing in the first
Looks
game.
like
You
he
press
got away.
Y or triangle if you're a PlayStation guy to look at a point of interest.
Usually traps the packs.
In Gears of War Judgment, they
Alright.
changed that to pressing
Stay
down
alert,
on the
use
D-pad.
cover.
And it threw me off, like I said before.
It's like how I feel with Fossil Fighters 3 and how that thing completely changes the schematics of how Fossil Fighter works. It can be very off-putting when a game series does that out of the blue.
Yeah, and it's not even just the second game. Remember, Gears Judgment is technically the fourth game in the series to release. So, by that point, yeah, Gears fans were already used to the classic control scheme.
It's like if we had a Crash Bandicoot 4 that after the first three games had it so that in order to jump, you have to press up on the D-pad instead of just using the X button.
Yeah. It's a very nonsensical design choice. It doesn't really add anything. It's just weird and
Grab a
random.
few of those grenades. I got a feeling we're gonna need
There you go.
them.
Grenade.
Damn, someone needs to do an ammo sweep around here.
Well, people just happen to leave ammo lying around, Dom. It's how the world works these days.
Yeah.
Wretch.
Sorry, the game will not be finishable if we didn't have that. So. And...
Again, I want a story about the kind soul who leaves the ammo that hero needs, who leaves the Wampa fruit for Crash to get, who leaves the rings for Sonic to get, who leaves the power-ups for Mario to obtain. We need a story about...
Well, Jova, if that's the case, the friend you must have been a really shitty friend and the bosses in 8-bit Sonic 2.
Oh, well, to be fair, he kind of probably died in the lava in 8-bit Sonic 2.
Well, what about all the other places then?
How about this, Webs? He fell into the bottomless pit in Mystic Cave Zone. Fortunately,
wait, hold on. But doesn't that mean that he fell into Hidden Palace Zone then?
Well, yeah, in the
yeah,
remake by
he
Christian,
fell.
yes.
He fell into Hidden Palace Zone, but because he's not Sonic, he died from the fall.
Cool. Now you can use the Lancer even on objects.
No, wait, sorry, Pedro. No entrance after 9 p.m.
Yeah. Maybe if Sega ported the Taxman remakes outside of mobile, maybe more people would be able to play them. Oh well.
Well, to be fair, a lot of
people,
quite a few people have
Steam version based on the Taxman.
Yeah, the Sonic CD one is, but 1 and 2 aren't. They're still mobile exclusive.
True. I thought you were saying in general.
Well, even then, Teo, the PS3 and the Xbox 360 are already over 10 years old. You'd think by this point would be a good time to port them to the current gen consoles.
No. But beforehand, I thought you were mentioning, all the Sonic games, not just 1 and 2.
No. I mean specifically the Taxman ports, considering the different versions of the games. So instead, no, we're gonna get a Sega Ages release of Sonic 1 and 2. And don't get me wrong, M2 is awesome. They do great emulations, but it'd be much better if we just get those versions instead. But
I wish
we're not here to talk about that. So
I wish M2 was instead used to make another Virtua Fighter, but what do I know?
Well, M2 were busy making the Mega Drive Mini.
Arcade games for Japan, I know.
Well, and the Mega Drive Mini.
Are they really Virtua Fighter material anyway?
Yes, they are the creators of it.
Oh, goody, they're still around.
Well, Yuzuki and his team are busy with the Shenmue series at this point, so I don't think you're gonna get that.
But that's an order, soldier. Dom, let's move.
Yeah. She just got serious.
Yeah, follow my orders.
So
And
yeah,
you might survive.
So yeah, basically, if you had chosen to not teach Carmine, the game would have just skipped to this point.
Desperation.
You still here?
Still here, Marcus. Tell Dom I may have a lead on his blind, but it doesn't look...
Oh.
Anya, what'd you find?
A lead on a Django. It doesn't look like she... I'll fill you in later, Dom. I have to get back to control.
Yeah, the explosions are kinda interfering.
Yeah, that's the beginning of Dom's character arc for this game. He's unfortunately he doesn't know where his wife is amongst all the confusion, so he's trying to find her, see if he can see if she's.
Let me guess. By the time she finds her, she's already dead or something.
No.
Well, it's a war, you know. You often find your long lost spouse not around.
There.
Follow me.
Well, we'll see, guys. We'll see.
So new character.
Locust got some serious sacks coming in here like this.
Let me check
This is a character that's gonna show up. That's gonna also be. I think it's the same type. I'm correct. Well, even if it isn't.
Maybe the
Lightmass
bomb hit him hard.
Oh, he's also voiced by Fred Tatashore.
Maybe something else is
Yeah, Fred Tatashore does a lot of voices for this series.
I don't know.
So yeah, basically.
Nice dodge roll, Marcus.
These patients have rough luck.
All right.
Okay.
So basically, we have to try to find a way to get the Locust out of this hospital.
Okay, Delta, I'm back online. We have confirmed Locust presence in the hospital. I repeat, Locusts are in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, now we've got a power outage too.
Shit sucks.
That's not good for a hospital.
Shit. Yeah, don't you hate it, guys, when an alien invasion is coming and now you suddenly get a power cut? Not very nice, is it?
Also, cool that now Jack seems to be more, less invisible. even when he's not hacking doors.
So you're gonna wait for the aliens to come, then use this. Oh.
Very good. All right, get in there, you little bastards.
All of you.
Fast right into position.
Go on. There we go.
Yay!
Tactical thinking for the win.
Yeah, that's again, that's one of the primary improvements of this game compared to the first one. This game gives the player more freedom for how to tackle things.
Thanks, Control. Dealt out.
Yeah, honestly, I forgot that he was voiced by John DiMaggio. I didn't even make a single Bender joke.
John DiMaggio does a pretty good job at converting his voice for this.
No argument here.
Well, I mean, it's still recognizable. It's just character depending.
Yeah.
Jacinto. That's the name of the city we're in, for the record.
Ooh, Lord development.
But yeah, you can see
I dread to think what London looks like.
the hospital was reconverted into basically a stronghold, so even with the power out, he was more concerned about the doors than anything.
You don't have to worry about that, Dwight. This is technically not Earth, it's a fictional world called Sarah.
Yeah, it's totally OC Earth, do not steal.
Oh, I guess Snow would love to live here then.
Did we try and colonize this planet before it was like, nah, we don't want you here?
Slaves, this is not an holy war, come on.
Now, this is more a case where we colonized it first. Let's just say the Locusts sort of have an interesting origin of sorts. But I believe we learn more about that in Gears of War 3.
Well, we get hints of it. The problem is that from what I've been able to gather, most of it is told in the comics, sadly.
Oh, don't worry, I'll be able to fill you in on some of the details.
By all means, do.
Especially considering how, let's just say, the creator of the Locust is connected to the protagonist of Gears of War 4 and 5.
Oh, really? Oh, you mean the... I haven't played them, but through listening to podcasts, I had the plot list of 4.
Oh, do you want me to tell you privately?
No, don't tell. But I do know what happens at the end of 4, yes, because I've heard it in one of the podcasts that I've been listening to. But by all means, tell me private if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, I find it weird, but I guess, who knows, maybe we'll explain things. Anyway, back to this. So yeah, sorry Teo, but it seems even hospitals are not safe.
Well, again, like I mentioned, this is a hospital that has been reconverted into a stronghold, and as the initial narration told, this is a sort of one of the last bastions that mankind is having, so it's kind of important to hold it.
There you go.
Yeah, I know. I've already... Yeah, Joe, I already know that. I was listening to a podcast and it got brought up in conversation.
You know, if we didn't know that...
George Culture mentioned a moment from one of the Gears game in one of his recent countdowns, but I actually forgot specifically about what it is, so I'm not rewatching it just to keep the surprise on.
Yeah.
You know, if it weren't for the Locust invading, I could think of other scenarios where we end up in the world that we are in that we see here today.
Well,
like if this related to Crazy Taxi, you know, all the driving around and wrecking shit caused all this to happen.
Wait. I thought that was Crazy Taxi. I thought that was Incredible Hulk.
It's because Gus raided all the restaurants. No, but no, as the narration told, it still says that before the locals show up, the humans were trying to destroy each other, so...
Consider, without spoiling anything, I'll just say this, Joe, but consider, as someone who hasn't played the game yet, considering Gears 4 takes place like 20 years or something after Gears 3, I'll just say that plot twist is a bit weird. How does that even work?
Well, I'll just say it sort of has to do with spin-off material and leave it at that.
Whatever, I'll see it for myself. Hey, everybody, there's nobody in reception.
Actually, I see plenty of bodies.
Pedro, ring the bell, someone will come soon.
Ring.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. How can I help you there?
Well, you could help me buy a not dying and, you know, healing me.
They're too late for that.
Guys, you wanna help maybe?
No.
No.
Nah. You're the grizzled army veteran. You do it yourself.
Then why did you even bother to come along then?
Just to watch you fight and laugh.
I have to do everything myself. Reaver!
Well, I wonder what we would be like in a war. Yeah, Pedro would be the tactician. Job would be the leader because he wants to be a leader. Tio would be the guy who provides us with supplies, and
So the
I
medic?
would I'd be that crazy guy who runs into stuff and somehow survives due to just blind luck.
So, like I said, you're the Carmine of the group.
Carmine survives.
Well, I'll get back to you, Jova.
Oh God! Why do I always?
No, Jova, no, I meant that in a positive way, but we'll get to it.
Oh, let me guess. Does Carmine become the main character in a point in Gears of War 4 or 5?
Don't we all wish?
Oh, don't worry. Let's just say the game will eventually put a new spin on the gag.
What, is he a traitor?
No, Waves. Well, I can tell you this for these Waves for free. I forgot if it was Epic Games itself or just Microsoft and so on. They actually put up a poll similar to Jason Todd's original Fate for DC Comics. Microsoft or Epic Games, if we want to, actually did ask the people, the fans, if they wanted this particular Carmine to survive or die. But I won't tell you. But I will not tell you the answer.
So let's see what the Gears fans chose
Mm-hmm.
when we get to Gears 3.
You chose.
Poorly.
Yeah.
Wisely?
Well, technically, yeah,
Taking
would be wise.
position in the streets. Requesting assistance.
Roger, control. We're on it.
Very good, Ty. Keep circling around me. That it makes him believe that he's helping.
That will confuse the enemies.
Wait, what's his character's name? Ty?
Ty, yeah.
Yeah, but don't you see, he is hopeless without his Digimon and
Of
that.
course.
Without Argamon, what's he got to lead? All his friends are
I know
dead.
that Digimon gets darker as the series goes on, but not like this.
You know, that's the only way Tamer's could have been darker, had all this shit going on.
I don't know, dude. So I would argue that Tamer so far at the very least compared to what I've seen, Tamer is still more darker than what I've seen so far of his franchise.
I'm on him. This Reaver ain't going anywhere.
Totally.
Good to know.
Also, guys, come on, like
Don't
circle
be-
around me.
Be patient.
Can you
Oh,
give?
what the
Can you
fuck?
give? In the PlayStation 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, you can press the directional buttons and give orders to nearby teammates. I guess you can't do that in this game.
No, you can. Even already in the first game, you could that. The problem is that the orders are very limited. You can only choose to have them regroup, as in they all get near you.
Oh yeah, that's what you do in Battlefront 2 as well.
You can have them attack, but at the same time they're already attacking anyway, kind of. And I think the third order. Usually I don't use it.
Take cover.
Yeah, I think there's another one there where it tells me to take cover. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Dave. I usually don't use it. I usually forget that it's there, to be honest.
I guess because your AI tends to be immune to damage, although to be fair, they can get knocked out at times.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess telling them to take cover does come in handy here and there.
True. That is true.
It is actually a nice command to have, though, because it saves you the trouble of having to deal with AI that can be dumb at times.
Mm-hmm.
That
Oh damn the power. Okay, who forgot to pay the power bills?
Well, to be fair, Ribs, it's the apocalypse. You don't exactly have the bills to pay.
All right.
No, Jova, if Yeah, have you seen some of those films where there's still profiteering going on and that?
Yes.
And there you are then.
All right.
No, I got it. We'll kill one of them, dress up as them, blend into their ranks, and then
What are we gonna dress up in? Their skin?
No, actually, don't worry, Dwibs. Don't worry, Dwibs and Joel. We'll do that. In the village. But, not now.
Yeah,
Not now.
yeah. But then we get close to the commander of their troops and then shoot him. And then without their commander, they'll be completely leaderless and they'll fall apart, and then we win the war.
I can actually mention that since it doesn't spoil anything. So, good guess, Joe Van Dwibs, because yes, that's actually what we do in the deleted scene. That we'll get into it later.
Cute.
In fact, I'm surprised that.
I actually kind of wish they would have kept that in the main game. Because it's actually a pretty cool a change from the norm, where you get to do a more stealth-like type of thing. It would have been a nice thing if they just left the choice in.
I'm surprised characters in shows and games don't try that often. Disguise themselves as a leader, as a member of the army, then get close to the commander and kill them, and then everything falls apart without the commander.
Oh, a rookie who's smart enough to know when to move about. Oh.
Reloading, sir. I still don't have that trick down.
I mean, he's a smart rookie. He knows when the area is getting too hot. Like, orders be damned, and oh crap.
So he doesn't get killed.
Grab some cover. We gotta dig in before we can get down there.
Although I have Series 1 of Adventure Time on Blu-ray, but I can't make a joke about that either because I haven't seen it yet. And John DiMaggio is in that. It's a dog-eat donuts. Well, the only jokes I can think of is that the main character he plays is a dog.
You see, notice how Dom is actually shooting right now. It's one of those things, Tail, where because the AI does indeed try and shoot, you know, I tend to forget to give them more specific orders because
you're smarter now.
I guess I'm just used to the way it works in Uncharted. In Uncharted, you don't have the ability to give orders to, because and the AI in the AI in those games is a lot better than in these games. So I'm usually used to just allowing the AI to doing its thing while I do my thing. So.
Remember, this was at a time where AI was a lot smarter, but still it helped to have commands to tell them what to do. Also, I guess story-wise, it makes sense that you'd be able to give them commands since you are a sergeant.
Yeah, I'm the sergeant. I'm the head of the Delta Squad, so yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, thanks, support.
Yay.
Good job.
They're very good at raining it down.
Alright, let's go, go.
Hot, 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 hot! Go, 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 go,
Aww.
Alright, through the store window.
Oh, they have a JCPenney's? You're awesome.
What exactly is even that?
Oh, it's like, you know, JCPenney's is like one of the top stores for, well, it's a department store that mainly specializes in clothes and apparel.
Okay, then. All right, we'll continue. We'll continue, and we'll finally get the end of the prologue in the title, like the title drop, in the next part. Then, see ya.
See ya.
See ya.